I did want to say back in 2008, I started listening to podcasts. And one of the first ones I listened to, it was the typical one, like the pioneers of podcasts, CGS, Uncanny Xcast was awesome. And the other one that I listened to was called the Legion of Substitute Podcasters. And for obvious reasons, my love for the Legion, I started listening to that podcast and fell in love with those guys immediately. Paul French and Darren Noel and Matt Kramer and a couple other guys. They go through a bunch of issues of Legion. And for the next, 10 years and up until recently, I started back up listening to them because my job was perfect. I would work at a desk. I'd put headphones in because I didn't need to answer phones, and I would just listen to podcasts all day.
Brilliant.
Now that's not what I like. For the last 5 years, I've not done that. So some of the podcasts I listen to, I have to find time to do it. But the Legion of Substitute Podcasters are great. Like, I'm friends with them on Facebook. Even in those early years, I'd send in poems, not very good poems, or, something to try and make them laugh, or, maybe I needed some attention. I'm not sure. But so I became friends with them. And I did learn that the other day that Darren from the podcast had suddenly died. And it was a shock to everybody because they're still making weekly podcasts even after this long.
Wow.
I think they're
That's
right before episode 750. Darren unfortunately passed away. It was very sad. They did episode 750 this week in his honor, and they did a great job. Paul French did a great job with some new guys that had been around a while. It's not like they just replaced Darren or something, but did a great podcast in memory of Darren. And I was just really sorry to hear. He was a great guy, very funny, and knew his Legion stuff back and forth. I had a couple conversations with him about characters. I think we both shared a love for Phantom Girl, though he did not like her to be called Fanty, which the other guys in the podcast then called her that all the time.
Yep. You opened it up, opened the doors.
So I just wanted to say, to Darren, that thanks for many years of, Facebook friendship, and more importantly, for his love of the Legion. And he seemed like a really great guy, and my sympathy to fellow podcasters, Legion of Substitute Podcasters. And yeah, I just wanted to say that.
You're listening to And This Is Why I Love Comics.
Andy and Mike. Andy and Mike.
Please elaborate.
And welcome to And This Is Why I Love Comics. I'm Andy.
I'm Mike.
And there's something about, I think we're going to talk about comic conventions and how to collect and what we have, how we collect. And what other premonitions am I going to have about what we're going to talk about today?
Could be all sorts of things, like what celebrities might be in our future, potentially, in the
going to conventions and
organizational tips and tricks.
Right. For some reason, I think that's what we're going to talk about.
I just discovered that this weekend is Hall of Heroes Comic-Con here in northern Indiana.
It is. I saw that. And we're not going down there now.
Still not, everybody's not fully recovered.
No. We thought maybe another 2 weeks would be good, and then we'll come down.
I was looking to see who's showing up. I don't know if you've done your research or anything as to who's making an appearance.
I have looked.
Not really a roster of people that I'm like, I have to go.
Yeah, it was like the first Cap again, and
The Incredible Hulk.
yeah, Lou Ferrigno.
And then Jim Shooter, which was like, that could be kind of cool.
Yes, that would be the only reason that I would attend, is Jim Shooter.
Yep.
No sarcasm.
Although,
I would like his signature on a couple of books, but you know.
Yeah. We talked about Secret Wars. That was all his doing. So
no, they'd be all Legion of Superheroes books.
Yeah, how old was he when he was kicking those titles
13.
out? And how old are we, and what have we accomplished in comparison?
We envy Jim Shooter.
Yeah. That dude kicked it out at 13. Now, I also have to wonder if the demand / requirements for high-level writing was there. You know, I think there's something about how... Oops, dang, my phone open. How much... see, I keep dropping out. I forgot to do the one little thing.
Oh, you
One
forgot.
moment.
It's been a long time.
Yeah. I know, dude. It's like... it's like, I promised I wouldn't start crying. It's been that long since I heard your voice.
Yeah, I was on my deathbed, not quite, but it just, it attacked the one thing I couldn't do to podcast, my voice. So,
yeah. I mean, it could have been a brain worm, and then you would still have been able to record.
Right.
But...
I could have, if we were a mime podcast, maybe... we'd be, really popular.
The Marceau podcast.
Yeah. I mean, as it is, it's been a month and my voice still isn't back to normal, so I'll be sniffling and coughing, but...
Could you imagine a mime podcast? It's like, hey, look, okay, so this is how you do being trapped in a box.
And then silence for 20 minutes.
Uh-huh. Yeah. Yes. Yeah. And then I'm going downstairs. Well.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you'd have to have somebody narrate it, and the mime can't talk at all. So, or else would there be two mimes, and no one would say anything?
Yeah, it's the Mime Podcast. This week's special guest. All right.
Yeah.
So it's a great podcast.
Right.
Yeah. So going back to the Hall of Heroes, Reb Brown was in one of my absolute favorite Mystery Science Theaters of all time, Space Mutiny.
Yes.
That is, without a doubt, like, I could watch that back to back to back. So
I only saw that at your house, so that's the only time I've seen it.
Oh my gosh, I love Space Mutiny. It is one of the worst science fiction movies. They completely took Battlestar Galactica clips. The plot was so whisper thin. His acting was like mercy. And then his wife was like his girlfriend, and he played a doctor. It was no, I think she was the doctor, the ship's doctor.
Right. And wasn't it like golf carts riding around in a big spaceship?
Yeah, like Zambonis zipping around. Clearly in some sort of warehouse, because there's windows.
Right.
What spaceship has windows that look out like that you can open? There's no warehouse inside of a spaceship. The price. Now, I remember, threw me for a loop when people started charging. I already paid to get in, and now you're asking me to pay you?
Right. Now I got to pay $200 for a signature?
Yeah. So I'm like going, okay, the dude who did a bunch of voice acting, so he wasn't really in front of the camera, but a bunch of voice acting, $50. And it's like, boy, that's tough.
Right.
Lou Ferrigno, like the celebrity guest, $60. And I'm like, oh. That's
I was expecting more, yeah.
I know. That's what I was thinking, too. It's like, okay. Lou Ferrigno, The Incredible Hulk, the sad theme song that everybody remembers whenever you're in a really, really down mood and you walk away from a place, you know that Hulk theme song is going through your head. He's $60. Reb Brown, who played the son of Captain America in 2 made-for-TV movies, $70.
Wow.
And it's like...
I mean, more people are going to go see Lou Ferrigno anyway. I mean, come on.
Yeah, so just by volume. And then the puppeteer, not like,
From Fantastic Four?
oh, that would have been really cool. But no, the puppeteer who worked in like movies doing puppets. So he was like a Jim Henson
Crystal?
puppeteer. Yep. So he was in like Labyrinth, Dark Crystal. He helped do some of Yoda, and then did some of, like Jabba slash.
Did he do David Bowie's groin?
Yeah. The movement he got out of that's pretty amazing.
I like to think that was all David Bowie, too. I mean,
Yeah. That's not CG'd.
nope.
No, the puppet guy is $70. You weren't in front of the camera. I just couldn't figure that out. But I guess it is. Your photo is taken with the Yoda puppet. And
Well,
it's
I don't want a puppet picture. That's just weird.
Yeah, but it's like the Yoda puppet, which is like, how did he get a hold of the Yoda puppet? Because like Lucasfilm was notorious, like no props leave the set.
It's got to be a replica.
Yeah.
When we went to the Heroes down there, it was the first year, right? Or was it the second?
That was the very first one they had.
First year. You know how much our signatures were for the Mads?
I think we paid like $25.
Yeah, that's it.
Yep.
And I was questioning that. But, we went down there, $25, not too bad. Yeah.
Now, I don't know if I kind of goofed this one or not, but it was $25, certainly. But I don't know if it was $25 a signature or $25 for them just to sign stuff. But I think they were a little bit more like there wasn't a whole line, a lot of people there for
No,
them.
we talked to them.
It was just us and no one else was coming through because Dean Cain was dominating that lineup.
Dean Cain.
That's Dean Cain. That it made it very difficult, for anybody else to get through to see either Reb Brown or the Mads. And I was like, man, so it worked out to our advantage. And I think they were like, and then also I brought that old Mystery Science Theater club packet.
Yeah.
And they're like, I hadn't seen this. And so I think that was like, okay, you guys are not just, you guys are fans, maybe it's obsessive, but we can sign some.
We were waiting in line and the lady yelled, anybody here to see the Mads? And we're like, boom, out of here.
Yes, please. Yeah. And we were the only ones, and no one else heard her. So it was like, yep, we got out of line and that was just bad. That location really wasn't accommodating for that event, and they didn't really think it all the way through.
Yeah. Oh, is it a different location now?
Yeah, so they actually have it at a convention center. It's still in the, very fine city of Elkhart. It's at basically the RV Hall of Fame, believe it or not.
It's at an Arby's.
Yeah. Yeah, they got the meats.
Right?
And it's a place to meet.
You got to meet some celebrities.
Dad jokes, here we go.
Thank you, I'm here all night.
Yeah, RV, like the Recreational Vehicle Hall of Fame or Museum. And I'm thinking it is technically a Hall of Fame in there. And I'm thinking what do you do to merit being in the Recreational Vehicle Hall of Fame? Like, what is there? It's like, I saved 5 people from a burning RV company or whatever. And it's like, that we need to put you in the Hall of Fame. Yeah. It's like sports. I understand you made a record in the sports or
people love you.
Music. Yeah. People, and at least people are aware of you. Here, it's like, I could claim to be in that and you'd go, that sounds right.
I once changed 2 tires of an RV in 15 minutes.
Hall of Fame. Here you go. Destin. Is it big event? Not really. I think it's actually kind of expensive to get into as well, even for a day. It's kind of not 100% sold that this.
Got to pay those bills.
Yeah.
See, there's something magical about a small venue, and as uncomfortable as we were in that first venue, I really liked it because it was small. We didn't walk for miles. It was upstairs, downstairs. That's it. There was a small room. It reminded me of those Holiday Inns that I used to go to with, comic book sellers there, and just one big room and just comics, and a couple people. And that's kind of what reminded me of the first one. And, I understand why they want to grow and make more money. But I always like those smaller venues.
Yeah. It felt like you could actually enjoy the thing and like, I'm missing out on this because it's all the way over there. Or this is going on and I can't get to this. And then you also feel like, I saw everything. I can go.
Right.
I got
Right. 3 hours later, I'm good.
Yeah, a weekend ticket, which is basically 2 days. It's a Saturday, Sunday thing. 2-day ticket, $40.
Oh, that's not terrible. I mean, that's doable. I think we're spoiled because we remember $5 enter the door.
Yeah,
but
and free parking and it's like.
But
and
40's not terrible. It's certainly like back then. I could take my 2 young sons with me because that's all I had at the time, and we could go to Dearborn or and now we have a Grand Rapids convention, and I can't afford to take my family of 7 to it because it's just it's $70 a pop or something. It's like, no, I'm not paying $300 to get in the door and then try and buy something. You've just priced my large family out of it, and it's too bad because I'd love to take them.
But I mean, the whole industry's gotten that way where it's like, kind of priced everything out.
Yep. It's for the young single kids now.
Yep.
Which doesn't make sense because we's got the money.
Yeah, it's like when you were young and could do all this stuff and didn't have any cares in the world, you couldn't afford it. Now that you can afford it, there's just
they don't want you.
It's not really for you anymore. Yeah, they've got cosplay people coming in, and then they've got the main stage area for all the celebrities to come through.
Yeah.
They do have a gaming room, which is kind of an interesting addition that wasn't there last time.
That's cool. But again, I wouldn't pay, $40 to go game all day. Well, I don't know. I certainly wouldn't bring my family to game all day for $40.
No kidding. Keep them occupied.
Right.
I'm leveling up.
Right.
Or whatever. It's like, no, that's not.
I don't know.
That's not going to go over.
It's too bad there's not a way to do that with $5 tickets. And, people will still pay or would be more willing to pay for signatures and stuff like that if you had a cheap way in the door. And you're getting, 8,000 people in the door. And I realize the event space is expensive, but maybe you shouldn't be there then.
I wonder, what is the solution? What makes this? What's that happy medium of, I was listening to the radio and they said that this is the first year that Six Flags made a profit in ages. The amusement park company, and it's and the reason why they made a profit is that they actually raised their prices. And it's what? Okay, but then, how long is that sustainable? People are like, oh, I better go in there now before they raise it even further next year.
Right. Or this will be my last time. This will be my one time in 10 years now.
Yep, and I'm not coming back.
Right.
So, I don't know. That's where it gets a little iffy. But, they claim to have done a better quarter or whatever, a better year last year. And it's oh, okay, that makes some sense. But
they probably compared it to COVID years. And, of course, everybody would have had a better.
Yeah. We actually had one person. Guess what? That infinitely raised the amount of income we got.
We doubled our income. I mean, I like conventions. And again, I've talked about it before. I wish I was in a position to where I could go to all these things now. But, I'm not really. I could. I mean, no one's stopping me. It's just I would rather spend my money on books, or I like getting signatures. But again, if I have to get in the door at 200 or, at 60 and spend 200 on a signature and then $50 hot dog or whatever to just eat, and then a $15 Coke can, and it's just I'd rather spend my money on a nice steak, and stay home and watch some movies or something.
Yeah, and you can do that as a family. It's tough to justify some of these things, and it's like, this is a hobby. This is something that we're hoping, to kind of continue and pass on to the next generation. But it's like,
not my generation.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I can't tell. Like, it's like, well, it would be fun, but I can't justify bringing my kids, to this when it's that expensive.
I mean, if you had one child, sure.
Yeah.
If your situation warrants it, good for you. But some of us have two or more.
They had like a family thing. I thought, oh, cool. So they max it out. It's like, not really. The family thing is basically 2 adults, 2 kids. After you got your 2 kids, it's like, okay, leave the other 3 in the car. We're bringing them in 2 at a time.
Or go get a babysitter and spend another $300.
Yeah,
and that's why I love conventions.
Yeah, where's Matt to talk about other conventions?
Right. Well, and some of it is we're spoiled because we've gone to a bunch of conventions.
Oh,
yeah. We've had that life and lifestyle, and maybe now it's just too bad because I miss it. But we've had our share of cool conventions, and it's time maybe for us to wait till the podcast gets a little bigger and then have our own convention.
Yeah, kind of like Penny Arcade's got their PAX.
We'll have a Matt 10.0 exhibit, and
here's your 400-foot statue.
We'll have Thunder Chicken perform. I mean, we got all the goods.
Oh yeah. Remember we went to, I think it was one of the first of the Detroit area ones. And I'm trying to think, because it went from like Dearborn to, I can't remember what it was called after that, but then it became Novi. And then became I think it went like Dearborn to Novi to the Motor City Comic Con. But before it was Motor City Comic Con, it was like the Novi convention. And Guar was there. Do you remember that?
Yeah.
And they would come rolling through.
Right.
The convention
they were on roller skates, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
With their spinning razor blade and their axes and their weaponry on full
display. Loud rock music.
Oh yeah, those hooligans. But yeah, it was like that to me made the convention. I mean, as I may not be a fan of Guar. I find that their particular music is not to my liking, but I do really appreciate their costuming and their theatrics. But the fact that they were just zipping around the convention floor was brilliant.
Yeah.
And I thought that was so good.
Probably couldn't get away with that now.
Probably not. Probably not. And also the fact that at that time, cosplay wasn't a thing, really. You might have somebody dressing up here or there, but not like in a full professional level. And Guar was like, so they stood out. Like, what are these people doing? And they're all dressed up like this. And this is insane. And so, but now it's like, I think everybody, you look around and there's like people coming in like Hulkbuster armor that looks like it just stepped off the movie set.
Right.
And it's like, what the heck?
Which is great. I mean, I love that kind of stuff. If you're into that, that's amazing. And even if you're just starting out, it's amazing. And I wish when we went early on that was more of a thing. I mean, there was always some, but not like it is now, not like the parade of cool costumes.
And I've mentioned Adam Savage, from the old Mythbusters days, and that dude would walk around convention centers always dressed up in some new costume he created that looks just brilliant. And you're like, how the heck? But then again, it's like, oh, man, that guy did work for ILM for quite a while.
Right, yeah.
So he kind of knows what he's doing. And then he also has his network of people that's helping him put his costumes together.
He seems pretty cool. Like, I would like to meet and talk to him. He seemed like he'd be a fun a chat with,
Yeah, very, I'd almost say approachable.
Yeah.
And at least, there's that level of like and the stories he'd have to tell, and he'd just kind of like, just listen to whatever happened next in his life. And it's like, man,
Right.
brilliant stuff. Thought about like, what would I do if I went back to a convention? Because to me, going to conventions were always about trying to get that gig at a comic, doing art for comics, drawing for comics, and it's like showing portfolios and so forth. And I'd be like, right now, if I were to like walk in there and go, "Here's my portfolio," it's like, "How old are you? And you're trying to get into comics?" It's like, no.
I'm 18. Don't worry.
Yeah. What is that one progeria where like you age rapidly?
Yeah.
It's like, I'm really 18. Listen to my squeaky voice.
I'm Benjamin Buttons. I'm going backwards. Thank you very much.
Yeah, exactly. So that would be absolutely brilliant. It's like playing that off. Maybe I could get in. It's like, you need a diversity hire, and diversity also includes age.
Right.
So get all these young people out and move me into this mix. As an old
I can
fogey.
crank the pages out, man. I can
Hopefully-
do 3 pages an hour.
Yeah. I don't know. So when that kind of stopped, and then having the luxury of going there as like, part of a toy company or a game company that I was working with, it was like, then it was showcasing goods and not comics. So that shifted me away from trying to get into the industry to being, kind of a ancillary in the industry, but still going to conventions. And then when that was like, I'm not really heading there for those events anymore for a company I'm working for. It's like, now it's like, I don't know what to do if I were to go back to a comic convention. I really don't. And I don't know if it's not like the end of the world that I don't, but at the same point, it's like, well, because I went to like a couple with family and like C2E2 and some others, and it's just like we walk around, it's like, I can't see going through all these bins of comics. And then,
Oh, I can.
yeah, that's a level of patience. I mean, like legitimately. And I love them, but at the same point, because I know how I'd get sucked into it. Like I could go, I'm going to go through some of these comics and check them out. A couple of these long boxes and go through them. But then inevitably, it's like I would find one issue of a series or a run, and I'm like, oh, this would be great. And then and the moment I take it out of the box and set it off to the side, like, okay, now I'm going to see if I can find the rest of this run. I will never find it. Any other issues. But if I had left that comic in that long box and proceeded to go to other long boxes, then I'd find like 4 or 5 others in that run. And then it's like, crap, what long box had that other single issue that I just put back?
Right.
Was that this bin? Was that bin? And,
I just did that the other week at Lang's in Muskegon, where I also ran into Matt 10.0, coincidentally. And we went through a bunch of long boxes. Didn't plan on meeting, but was pleasantly surprised to find them there. They have good deals on dollar bins, and I'll go through a dollar bin every day of the week.
Wow.
If I could. And just finding stuff. If there's a nice selection of dollar stuff, I will grab entire runs and read stuff I never really collected before, but for $1 a piece, and there's it's a 12-issue series, and
Yep.
there's all 12. Great, bing, 12. Spend $12 on a comic series, sure, no problem.
What's your tolerance level for going through a long? So I'm gonna start from the easiest, and then just say, okay, nope, I can't go that far. The easiest being they're in alphabetical order. They've got them in chronological order, like, issues 1, then 20 or whatever it is. It goes through numerical order, sorry. I can deal with that. Because I was like, okay, I'm looking for this run by this person. I can jump, and there it is. That is probably as far as I can go. Now, on your end, let's see. I'm going to rattle off something and tell me if this is like, if I can still do this. A long box. Let's just talk long boxes. Can you go through a long box, or does it have to be a short box?
Nope, it can be a long box.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Okay. Then, do the books have to be in alphabetical order?
Nope. In fact, I hate when they are.
What?
If I'm doing dollar bins, I want them mixed up as all get out.
Completely shuffled.
Yep. I mean, it'd be nice if there was a series, that were close together to others and stuff like that. But they do not have to be in any order. Half the fun is finding. Nope.
What?
I mean,
so
if
Marvel
it's
can mix it with DC,
if it's DC and Marvel mix, and then Independence in another box, that's great. That's perfect. Boom.
What if let's say we're going to throw something in there? What if you go through it and it's like, wow, look at Legion of Superheroes, Justice League, Ricky Rich's dollar bills.
Nope, I'm loving it.
Really?
Yep, that's
even if it's like it's not
that's
even
right.
like
You'll see me pulling all three of those out, going, "Oh, can I get a run out of this?" And sure enough, I'll get 10 Richie Riches and 3 Legion of Superheroes.
Wow. Okay.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
The hunt is half of it for me, and how am I going to discover things I don't remember if I'm going alphabetical looking for something?
True.
I just I don't remember that cover. Great. Or it's a variant that I had the original. And I'm also spoiled because I use CLZ and have for several years now. So I know what I'm missing.
What you're missing, yeah.
Even though I have a full list of, comics and stuff, I still end up getting a duplicate or two. But I'm not sure how that happens.
You just get carried away.
Right. And I try to, when I'm pulling out books, sometimes I'll pull out the same book, not realizing that, I just pulled that out 3 boxes ago, trying to get the run, and then suddenly I'm going, there's the issue, and I've already got 3 copies of it in my pile. But, I go through that pile before I leave, and if it's a duplicate, I do sort them out before I leave, and just to make sure I don't have extras.
Overlapping as best as can.
Yeah. And for me, like, if I got 1, 6, and 8, and 12, I probably won't pick up the series.
Okay.
But if I get 1, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, I'll probably pick that up. I'm missing one issue. I can hunt that down later. But if I'm missing like 5 in the middle or something, or even issue 1, like if I have nowhere to start, but on issue 4, I'm probably not gonna. I'll put it back, and maybe I'll get them next time if I see something.
Let me ask this one: bagged, and boarded versus just bagged. Do you need the board, or can you go through it without the boards? Meaning, like, the comics have that stiffening as you can kind of flip, or can you go even one step further? And this is where if I even see a long box like this, it's like, nope, I cannot even look at it. And that is the unbagged comics.
I will look through all of them, no problem. Usually the unbagged, unboarded are really new comics.
Okay.
In my experience lately. And that's usually stuff I have no idea existed because I don't look through new comics that much. So I'll look through, and if there's, a cover that catches my eye, or, hey, there's a Superman title I wanted to try but didn't, I'll buy those. I prefer if they're bagged. I don't care if they're boarded.
Okay.
When I buy them, I'll board them when I get home.
Yeah.
So, I'm not picky. They're comics. And this is why I love comics, is the podcast.
Yeah.
And
what you will go through in order to...
Right. Now, I do have to be in a particular mood. Like, I've gone to dollar bins with the idea of going through them for a couple hours. And after, I've gone there, it's like an hour drive to Muskegon. Okay. And I'll go there, and after 20 minutes, I'm like, I'm just not feeling it. That's not, I don't really, nothing excited me in the first 20 minutes to go, hey, I got to keep going. And I'll be like, I'm good. I'm done. It's just not today, I guess,
Now, do you go where it's like, I will go through this long box, and then if I don't pull something from the long box, then I won't continue. But if I find something in this long box, Even if it's just a single issue, then I'll go to the next long box and sort through it.
I'll
Do you have
go
a system?
through and I'll do like 8 or 10 boxes. At that point, if I've got a decent pile, 100 comics or something, I'll just kind of coast through the next couple boxes and skip things, just see what kind of books are in there and what order they are. And if something catches my eye, I'll stop and I'll look for it. And if I see a run, I'll slow down and do it. But I'll do that for like 3 or 4 more boxes. And if none of those interest me with an initial look, I'll be done probably after that,
Have you ever gone through a long box and then something hit you like, ooh, like either like a
Taco Bell or something? Or...
yeah, like bong.
Because yes.
Did something hit you, meaning like, did you like either like there was a smell or something that was like, ooh, that was not because I've gone through a couple of long boxes and like all of a sudden you'll find like a copy that has that stale milk or like heavy smoke, and you're like, ooh, man, what the heck? How did I get across these comics? Especially those are in the ones that I come. That's why I don't look at non-bagged issues anymore. And it's just like awesome because there was the reason why I bring this up is that I had gone to like an antique mall and somebody had like a long box of comics and it's like, hey, and it was tucked away. So I'm thinking, oh, you never know what's in there, because it's like it may not have been picked over because this is not where people are going to find comics. This is an antique mall. So like there may have been like some hidden gems or something like that, or like something that they didn't look at. It's like, oh, this is my husband's stuff and I just need to get rid of it. I had gone through maybe like the first 15 books and it was just like, this smells of cigarettes. And I just couldn't get through any more of it. It was just like, ooh, this is bad. This is really bad. So,
I draw the line at smelly things or musty,
yeah.
Something that's been in the water for a little too long. That's I don't, even if it was super needed, I probably would pass on it just because that's my pet peeve on comics. I don't want anything that smells or has some water damage. But
yeah, have you gone through like a long box and like the plastic bags have stuck together?
yes, but that's usually my own boxes.
They're either, they're pressed in there so tightly and there's enough humidity that's causing those bags to kind of fuse.
Well, when I was a kid, before I knew that they should have comic bags, I'm pretty sure I used sandwich bags or like loaf of bread bags.
Yeah, Wonder
Bread bags. I'm sure I had some comics in those, and they smell delicious. And
make me hungry for PB&J with this comic book.
But as I get older, I get wiser. I put them in other bags. Nothing legitimate yet until I turned 50, and then I decided to get some comic bags.
I remember we got some of those like Mylar bags. That was like a new thing. So like the regular bags, the regular plastic bags, that kind of like a regular.
They got to change every couple years.
Yeah, because they
should.
Yellow and yeah. It's just like your oil in your car. It's like every 3,000 miles, change the bags.
Every couple of years.
So I remember this Mylar came out. It was the crinkliest, loudest bag, like everything. It's like, do you remember Sun Chips? It was like the same bag that a Sun Chip comes in. Whereas, like, it just crinkles. There's nothing you can do. So, like, I want to read this book. And you're like, what the heck? Just this cacophony of noise as you're just trying to pull out this comic. It's like, yeah, we're not going to get this type of bag ever again.
Right.
But, yeah, bagging and boarding and all that stuff, it's like, oh, man, that is nothing. nothing says I'm never going to look at this book ever again, like bagging and boarding it. Because it's like, you're basically saying, well, thanks for that. I'm going to put you in a little coffin, and I'm going to bury you in my
Never
long
see you
box.
again.
Goodbye. It's like, what the heck?
Now you just described my Zen holiday, perfect, time. I would clear the house of my children and just, surround myself Uncle Scrooge style and just bag and board and sort. I mean, that's like my dream holiday that will never happen.
Now, let's talk about your organization. When you put your boxes,
I haven't even done the intro yet.
we're too late. We're in it. You'll just have to superimpose it back in post. I'll fix it in post.
Pretty much.
Organizing your comics, are you organized to like alphabetize and then organized by publisher, organized by era? Do you like, oh, this is all Silver Age, so I put all the Silver Age and then I organize by the publishers that way, or do you publish by or organize by how do you set your collection in order of all your floppy issues?
Okay, here's what I do. I'll say it in theory, this is what I do because this is not what it looks like at the moment.
Yeah, if you were to break into my house right now, find things.
But this is what I do and would like. I bag, of course, every issue. I used to double bag, but I'm getting in the habit or the enjoying single bagging it. I use one piece of tape on the back. And just to keep it shut. I didn't used to, but I do now. And so I'm kind of in between right now. Half of them are probably double bagged and half are single bag because the last few years I've been buying my new comic bags and replacing old ones and stuff like that. But then during COVID, they got very scarce. And so I stopped. But so I will bag and I've been boarding ones that are important to me or ones that I think they'll benefit from a board. Long collections like my Justice League of Americas and my Legions and stuff I really want to keep straight. I've been boarding, and I do probably end up boarding them all, but one thing at a time. And then I will put them in order, numerical order. I will do it by publisher. So I'll have all my DCs and all my Marvels separate, and then my independents. I don't.
I'll have the big two. Then everything's lumped together.
Right. It's flumped together. I don't have enough to where I would have to warrant Dark Horse, long box and stuff.
True.
I will put like things together is basically how I organize it. I'll have all my Flashes together, all my Green Lanterns together. I'll put them in series order or how I would read them if, I wanted to just grab a box and start reading. I put all my Justice Leagues, including, offshoots and miniseries and stuff like that. I will put together because they're all Justice League related, or I guess a good example would be my Legion of Superheroes stuff. I have every Legion outside of some of the early adventure ones, and they're all combined into a few long boxes in order of how you would read them. And then all the miniseries and stuff are in either in order if they were part of a storyline. Like if they're part of, in the middle of a series, there's a offshoot. I don't put them in the series, but I'll put it behind the series so that I could access them if I wanted to. And then things that don't fit any of those categories, I'll put in a separate box. And that's pretty much it. I have enough, just like America's to fit 2 short boxes, almost 3. And then I probably have, related stuff, another 5 boxes, so it's all relative. to each other. I don't do alphabetical necessarily, although my mind is starting to think maybe I should. So I might change it up a little bit. I have in the past. I mean, it's just my preference is reading order, kind of like the triangles on the Superman, as they were doing that when they came back.
Yep.
You read this one, and then you read Action, and then you read Superman, and then and then Adventure.
Order.
And that's, I put them in that order, if that's the reading order it is. And used to do that, but now I'll have Action all in one box, Adventure of Superman in another box. I don't do the triangle thing anymore because I'm a big boy now and I can figure out which one goes next.
Yeah.
I think that answered your question. I'm
and then some. No, it was, just thinking about all the comics and like how to put them in order and so forth. It's like, philosophies are built around whatever order you want to put your comics away in.
Right.
It's like, I need this issue or this issue. Well, I'm going to put this one away in this, And then there's inevitably, like, I got the system. I got it. It's going to be this. And then something throws it for a loop.
Yeah, like
So
you get a tight box full of Spider-Man, and then you buy another Spider-Man issue, and it won't fit in that box.
Yep.
And then you got to split up the whole series into two. And like you need to leave room if you're buying extras, and you're going to fill it, so you can't pack it up too tight.
Yep.
Yeah, there's a system. Now, I say all that, but I bought so many books out of Lang's over the last couple of years that I just have boxes of mixed and match stuff. And last year I went through and at least said, okay, all the DCs are in this box, all the Marvels and that, and I still have to go through and put them away, in order and stuff. But I'm looking forward to that in 2028.
Yep, finally getting to it. Yeah, I went through because I was looking at basically going to unload the majority of my single issues. I was like, I'm not reading any of these things. They're just taking up space. I've got other things that I need to kind of make this room for. So I was looking at trying to organize them and see exactly okay, if I want to have, let's say, 4 short boxes and that's it, or 6 short boxes and that's it, whatever it wound up being. I was like, okay. So I was trying to figure out how to winnow it down, and then all of a sudden that was my intent and the best intentions, and it never went beyond that because it's like, oh, this is a good issue. Oh, I forgot about this one. Oh, that would be great. I should read that. And then it's like I didn't get rid of any of them. It's like, holy crap, all this stuff and all the intent I had. But then, so I'm sorting them, which I hadn't done in ages. Got them all put away, but then I was doing what you had said. I'm going to put Marvel, and they're going to have their own boxes. DC, they're going to have their boxes. Everything else, fine. But then all of a sudden I'd come across Superman versus Predator. And it's well, piss. This is supposed to go with Dark Horse. But is it Marvel or DC? And then some of them, I was more interested in the secondary character. So let's say Batman and Hellboy. It's I was more about the Hellboy at that time that I bought it. So do I throw that into the Dark Horse because that was really why I bought it? Because and Batman was just kind of oh, that's a nice added bonus to it. Or do I put? And then it's you had those moral dilemmas of sorts of oh no, what do I do? No one in the world has a concern about how I'm putting my comics away. But
Superman versus Spider-Man. Where do I put that?
Yeah, it's amalgam. Don't get started on the amalgam comics. That's is that technically a third publisher? Does that go with the independents? But
yes.
That was Marvel and DC making their own. And I was oh, this is unbelievable. Going through some of that stuff, organizing it. There's a lot of cathartic release of just sitting, organizing, putting things in places, knowing there's a home for everything. But there's also just that little bit of a level that says, I'm really frustrated because it's is this the best system in place? Is there something else I should be doing?
Well, I used to have everything in a long box, And now I've transferred over to short boxes for almost, I may have maybe four long boxes left, just because it got so heavy transporting them around.
Gosh.
I'd rather transport 12 short boxes than 6 long boxes.
Yep.
It just got to be a pain in the butt. So I'm a short box person. They're easier to put on a shelf. They line up nicely. They have these really cool design short boxes, which I've not gotten any yet. But, they're just a little out of my price range of, do I really want to spend it on this? And so I haven't bought any, but they're really cool looking.
The problem is like, this is technically storage. It's not meant to be that pretty. It's just like,
Right.
I kind of like them being nondescript and off to the side, as opposed to like, oh, check out all that cool graphics. What is this? It's just where my comics go to die.
Right.
It's like, no.
I'll never look at these again.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, nope, I'd just rather unmarked grave with these things if I could. I did the same. I switched over to short boxes just because it's like lifting these things up, pulling them off to the side, because they were stored under my staircase for a while in my basement area, and, they were elevated so that the air circulated around them, but long boxes, and it's like, anytime I had to get something, I had to pull this long box and then grab another long box and grab another long. It's like, why don't I just do these short boxes, put them in the back, and then put something in front of it that I need to have access to, as opposed to trying to haul it. And it was just like, let's get rid of these long boxes. Yeah. And also the long boxes now, I've moved several times because toy industry just requires you, if you want to work there, you're going to have to move there. And it's like, okay, well then move to this other job. When that one, move to this one because you want to work at this company. And then it's just like, ugh. So we move so many times that it's like, these long boxes got the crap beat out of them. And I can't imagine telling somebody in a moving company, lift this thing, which is basically now full of books, that's a full log. You would not tell somebody, lift this part of a tree, equivalent of a tree, and bring that around. It's like, nope. That's a lot of wood pulp and everything else that's in it, so those things weigh so much. It's like, leave the long boxes for like comic dealers, short boxes for yourself.
Yeah, after my divorce, I had probably 20 long boxes to move. For a while, I had no place to stay, so I was staying at my brother's, and they couldn't go with me. So luckily, I had my friend Ryan, who graciously said, "Hey, I have room in my basement." Okay, here you go.
Brace yourself.
He kept them probably for a year before I was settled down in a new spot. Maybe more than that, I don't know.
And it's amazing how much, like, I will not remember an issue until I look at a cover, and it's like, I remember everything about that issue. And then I'll put it, and I won't even open the comic anymore. And it's like, oh, that's that issue. Yep, that's the one, first appearance of this character. And I remember everything about that issue. And then I'll forget until I look at the cover again, and then all of a sudden it all comes flooding right back. And it's like, that's just, but I haven't gone back to reread much of my books, really. Yeah.
It's part of the fun is knowing when to get rid of them or not. Like I've done the same thing. I've looked through my books and thought, I could thin out probably 1,000 of these books and not miss them. And then I start going through them and I go, oh, I would miss this one. But I wouldn't, if I wasn't going through it, I forgot I had them or, like that.
Yeah.
But just looking at just, it's the cool cover or, hey, I know where I bought this or I have no recollection of ever buying this. And, looking through the pages and, oh, that one's by this such and such person who's passed and, you can't get these books anymore. It's just a love of any comic, really. I mean, even some of the Image stuff, which some of the early Image stuff, I have fond memories of, and they were doing stuff that I envied, but, turns out they weren't the greatest storytellers. They were more artists, and even looking back at the art, it's like, I really don't like that anymore, but, just even that stuff. It's it's like, oh, I remember I bought that at Argos, and I bought that, between the covers.
You have collector's corners.
Yeah.
Well, at that time, not collector's corner.
No, I can almost guarantee, nope. Although I bought my first, as I'm eating ice here, just a second. Matt, is that you?
That was like clearly he was pouring himself off a cool one.
What was I saying?
A little bit of everything, apparently. You said you picked up something from.
Collector's Corner. Oh, the first book. One of my first memories is picking up one of the early Justice League of Americas. I mean, I say early, but it was like in the middle of the run or whatever. But was at Tardy's. So I have a fond memory of Kirby at some point, right? I mean, he was nice. Yeah. He was tolerable. I don't think he was ever nice to me, but
no. But there was also a level where he was clearly not a people person.
I think he thought he was, though. Like, I'm a people person. Get out of my place.
You looking for anything? Because if not, get out of here.
No.
I mean, it was not really in a great location, to be honest. At least because I don't recall going there to see it prior to it being on where its current location's at. So to me, it's always been at that location, and that's not necessarily was at that time, especially at that time, was not a great spot.
Yeah, it wasn't. I remember a couple different locations, one downtown that I started.
Yeah,
it was never, I mean, especially as a kid. I mean, now, it's not terrible now, but as a kid, I remember going, oh, this is, it's downtown, and, I heard rumors. That's probably where my fear of downtown came from, because I feared downtown for 30 years or whatever, and then, now I live 5 minutes away from it, but...
Yeah, the comic shops, and I mean, what was beneficial is that, I mean, how many comic shops did we have growing up in Grand Rapids?
Yeah, we were pretty spoiled. I mean, we had at least 6 that were decent, and, variety of decent, but it was still...
go to 7-Eleven and get comics at that time, so it wasn't only direct market. You could get them elsewhere.
Right, and even now, there's, 3 or 4 really good stores, and a couple that are okay in the area or within an hour. So yeah, we're not too bad.
Where I'm at, we've got really just 2, and there was times where there was just the 1.
Yeah,
and it's like, wow, that's as much as I loved comics, and I feel like everybody should love comics. I kind of think about like there's giant towns that have no comic dealers, nothing. I'd go down to visit family in the South, and where we were at, there wasn't a comic shop at all. Oh my gosh, this is, how did anybody even understand or even get into comics in this area? Because there wasn't a comic shop anywhere.
Right.
So it must have been all through whatever you found at 7-Eleven and such.
Huh. Yeah, I wouldn't want to live in a town that had none, but I guess, that's when you order them through the mail. Here's your Fragile Comics, and, just get them that way, I guess. But there is something about going to a local shop, and I'll always go to a local shop and buy something. I like to support them. That's where I get my comics now. I never thought I wouldn't get them in the mail, but I'm getting wiser or older or cranky or all the above. I don't know what that had to do with anything, but let me do my intro, and
by all means. That's kind of rough, especially after all that time. Because I was thinking back to some of the podcasts I used to listen to. Like you said, at the early era. It's like,
and he was our age. I mean, he was, it was not like he was really old or anything, He He was young like us.
Yeah, vibrant and youthful.
Right.
But yeah, that's you just kind of think like, man, you kind of get disconnected with people because we used to listen to that They Live, but
They live.
I'm Alive or something like that. What was
Yeah.
it? And that was a great serial podcast, and there's some other ones, and it's like, man, a lot of the early Dungeons and Dragons ones.
Yep.
That was really kind of fun to listen to. Some people gaming and stuff like that. And it was, to hear the stories that they were telling. And then, like you said, there was also the level of, like, it's a great podcast that I listened to for a very long time, which is Art Baltazar, who did, like, Tiny Titans.
Yeah. Yep.
Their podcast, and it's a brilliant podcast. But John Suntress, I think is the guy's name, who does a lot of voice acting for, like, WGN in Chicago and stuff like that. He does impersonations and does a great job doing that. But I haven't listened to their podcast in years, unfortunately. And it's like, dadgummit,
opportunity has to be there, and
yeah. But it's rough when you kind of go back and you find out, like, that's why that ended. Or, I guess they don't do this anymore. And you just kind of wonder what happened.
right.
They brought us so much entertainment, so much, joy over the years, and you really kind of, in some cases, it sounded like yours was a little bit different with that group, but some of it's like you're just so on the outside, just like enjoying it. It's like, hey, thanks for doing that, but you never really reached out to them directly.
Right.
And then, so you don't feel like you're that much of a kindred person. You just kind of on the surface, but then you kind of go back and it's like, oh, they're gone. I wonder what.
Yeah, it's like a celebrity that you miss.
Yeah.
And you had no ties. They entertained you. You didn't entertain them. Happened to just email them one day and became friends with them. I don't profess to, feel the loss like other people do. I wasn't best friends with them or in constant communication. But, when someone you've talked to and share a love of, something, and they pass, there's something that's like, that we would have been great friends if I'd lived down the street from them or, whatever.
Yeah,
it's like,
exactly.
But you can't pick your time.
Nope. Make the most of what you got. Stay without a regret, ideally.
That's right.
With that, let's do what we spent the last bit of time doing, and that's reading comics.
What? You still want to talk about it?
It's gonna be brief. We talked about everything else.
Might be a two-parter.
We read a comic. Okay, that's it. Now let's go back to what else we're talking about. Yeah, I don't know. There is something I was thinking about. Just like, I kind of wanted to go back a little bit in retrospect and hit up that Kingdom Come. Just a hint.
Oh yeah, I got more to talk about that too.
It's like I felt a little bit like there may have been a bit of a disservice, and I think it was one of those things like, what is it? Like when you brush your teeth, it makes orange juices or just oranges in general taste very different. And they say that in that it's like when you come off of reading something else, let's say like an Ed Brubaker, or you just went through like an Alex Toth book or something like that, and it's all about like the simplicity and the fewer lines, less distraction, focus, clarity. And then you dive into a Kingdom Come, and you're like, and it's like, I don't feel as if I don't think I may have hit Kingdom Come at the right time.
Yeah, we caught some flack for just kind of just going, it was okay.
Yeah.
Now, I don't think either of us meant to say Kingdom Come was just okay.
Terrible. Yeah, or even okay. Yeah.
It was a beautiful book, and the writing was top notch. I think, like you said, it was just timing.
Yeah.
But yeah, people were going like, you don't like Kingdom Come? What's your deal?
Yeah, we're done with you fools.
Right. And that's not how we wanted to come across, but I mean, that's what we came across.
Oh yeah, clearly. I was thinking about that, and I was like, man, and there's stuff I'll still stand behind what I was saying, but it's just one of those things where you kind of like, did you ever do that experiment as a kid? And you have three glasses of water. One water is really, really hot, one's really, really cold, and then one's like room temperature in the middle. And then you'd stick a finger in the hot water, you stick a finger of another hand in the cold water, and then you put them in the middle. And it's the same temperature water, but one will feel as if it's really ice cold water, and the other will feel like it's really hot water. But it's that you came from one thing and into this other thing, and that skewed your view of that other thing because of where you came from, just exited.
Is that called the Goldilocks effect?
Yeah, yeah, something along those lines. Yeah, Heidelberg principle of
Right.
or whatever. But it's and I kind of felt like that was somewhat of the case because like we had just come from some really good books, and I think another thing that kind of skewed it was I hadn't read it since when it came out, and then so you go for that long. And it's like, oh, remember that one teacher we had in high school? That cool one? Yeah, he was a cool teacher, man. He taught us all this stuff. And then you see a photo of him now in a yearbook, and you're like, oh my gosh, that was just a middling old man who had no idea what he was talking about. But, and you're like, oh gosh, that was not at all what I remembered. Or, it's like, yeah, I remember that playground set? It had the biggest swings ever. That I just remember like swinging on the swings, and we were just like, we'd get so high that we could see over the building, and then you go back to the same playground as a kid, and now as an adult, and you're like going, man, I can actually like grab the bar that was above my head, that held the swing. So I don't know how tall this was. It's just things are bigger in your memory than when you revisit it doesn't make the connection like it did. And I think that was like, I kind of thinking like, man, Kingdom Come was such a big deal that when rereading it, it's like, am I reading this right? Or am I missing something? And now with the frequency of so many big event books, crossover titles, and so forth, that it just seems like, the newness and the wow has kind of been diminished as a result of just recent thinking of all this kind of stuff.
Yeah.
So
what you're saying is you hated it.
Yeah, and you can't convince me otherwise. So I just, it's amazing. I kind of went back through it after we recorded, and it's like, this is actually a good story. It was one of those things where it's like, I read it for the first time in decades, because the edition I got was like the 20th anniversary, which is like, dang, it's been 20 years since this book came out. And in that time frame, it had inflated to such a level in my head of how like this is like, move over Tolstoy. We got Mark Wade's writing on top of Alex Ross's plots, and his art. And it's like, this is amazing. And then now reading again, it's like, wait, what? And so, so after the podcast, I reread it, just kind of out of curiosity, like, okay, let me just kind of sit down and not read it with the intent of reading it for a podcast, but reading it just to read it. And it's like, actually, this was pretty good.
Right.
So, yeah.
I didn't go that far. I didn't reread it again.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, I loved it, but,
Yeah. Well, this time it was better in that I kept getting caught up in the art. And that was what was throwing me off as also. That it was just like, oh, hey, look, it's the Cosby Kids. Oh, look, over here, it's, the Wonder Twins are from the Super Friends or whatever, Wendy and Marvin. And it's, oh, hey, look over here, it's this. And it was like, oh, that's cool, all these references. And it was so distracting that it was kind of drawing me out of the story. It's like, it was the equivalent of seeing a boom mic in a movie. It's like, you just can't help but see, like, what is that? That's not supposed to be in that movie. It was like, remember when in The Mandalorian, that the one scene that had the guy just leaning against the wall in blue jeans and a t-shirt. And it's
Or the
like,
coffee
what?
cup in Game of Thrones.
Yeah, exactly. And it's like, it throws you out completely. And there was so many of those little cameos that became Where's Waldo that I just got too distracted that I kind of lost, like, it pulled me from the story. And so this time I was like, okay, I'm going to really sit down. I'm going to really read the story. And it's like, oh yeah, okay, now, okay. So it did come back around. I wouldn't say it was still as groundbreaking as I remembered it. And I don't think but at the same point, like they say, you can never go home again. You know, I was like, I read it, I remembered it. And so, like, what was the groundbreaking event was like, oh, but since I knew what was going to happen, since I knew where this was heading, and, you know, what the overall plans were and so forth, you know, the surprise element, you know, it's like you can't reread a murder mystery because, like, oh, I already know who did it. You know?
Right.
So the same thing here. So some of it was a layer taken off because of that. But yeah, I just wanted to kind of hit up that one other thing, kind of like Kingdom Come Revisited. Kingdom Comes Again, I guess.
Now, was there another book that we've read that you felt that we didn't give it a full positive review, even though we meant to? You know, like Marvel's Hawkeye series, maybe?
Maybe. Maybe. Yeah. Cosmic Odyssey. I really don't
Infinity
know.
Gauntlet.
Oh, no, that one got everything it deserved. And again, like with Cosmic Odyssey, that was another one that it was like I had such fond memories of it when it came out. How many decades ago at this point? And thinking like, oh man, this is so great. And then rereading it, it's like, ooh, what the heck was this? You know, it's like this thing had the skeleton of a plot, and they really didn't put anything on it. It was barely held in, and it was just kind of like, I don't get who these people are. I don't understand why are we, you know, what was engaging about it? Why the stress? And
But gorgeous art and color.
exactly. You know, I think that had Steve Olaf doing the colors at the time. So it was just brilliant stuff. And the art, for the most part, still holds up amazingly well. But
And you had our favorite character, the Yellow Paint Lad.
yep. He can take out the whole Green Lantern Corps. Has no special powers other than he has Glidden paint on speed dial.
That's right.
And I was like, I can defeat cosmic power beings, the galactic police force, because I have access to an unlimited supply of yellow paint. There's still a lot that I'm like, nah, no interest to go back on. But that one, I think, yeah, it was just because it was like, I can't be cynical about everything. And maybe it was just,
Oh, yeah, we can.
and then that one, yeah, I do feel like maybe I didn't give it the fair shake, so I wound up rereading it just to kind of like, okay, maybe. And I
Very
will say,
interesting.
yeah, on second read, having kind of gone through that initial shock of like, this isn't what I remembered it being, and then rereading it a third time at this point in my life, it's like, okay, yeah, this actually isn't that bad. I enjoyed it better. Knowing, because it's like nothing can live up to some of the hype you have in your head,
Yeah.
and it didn't, and that was reflective in my comments, especially on that one.
Yeah, I mean, Mark Waid is an excellent writer. I've liked almost everything he's written. As a writer, seems to be a pretty good detail, story-driven, nice twists and turns, positive.
Knows the industry real well.
Knows DC and can do pretty good at Marvel as well. So yeah, certainly knows the industry. Alex Ross, what is there to say that, you know, is obvious by his art and his style? Have you ever met Alex Ross?
I've had a couple conversations. I commissioned some artwork we did for a toy company. He did our Star Trek Enterprise packaging, and he did our Batmobile. Yeah, it was good. He was not. Oh man, that was one thing I will say. he did not like what we did with the Star Trek stuff. And it's like, okay, you're an amazing painter. I will not fault you for that. But we needed to. This is still a product. We still have to conform to selling this on a store shelf, and there are rules we have to abide by.
Right.
And it had to ugly it up. But when you go to any toy aisle, you have to explain what this is. You have to put on warnings. You have to put on all these, indicia and all that stuff. So you're kind of locked in. But we had to hide and modify Alex Ross's art on that one. And that didn't sit well.
I bet.
The last time we talked with Alex Ross. But yeah, I had met him at a couple conventions and we had talked about some of the process and projects and so forth. But yeah, so if you look up Alex Ross Star Trek Enterprise, like the original series, that painting, I think he put it on his blog saying, "This is the way I wanted it, and this is what they did with it." And it's like,
he did not. Did he do that?
Yeah, he kind of threw us under the bus on that one, but oh well.
Alex, I wanted to like you now.
Yeah, but I mean, it's like I can understand, that's why he's an artiste, Yeah, so there's that. And then we had some Batmobile stuff we were doing, and he did some of that artwork for that too. It's a 60s Batmobile.
That's good. I mean, he's got some talent.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. Just a smidge.
He's a smidge good.
Yeah. So, and he's in Chicago, so it wasn't that far. And he would come to the comic store in town. And I don't know why, but there wasn't like he didn't have family or anything out this way. But he Black Friday, he would come out to that shop every Black Friday for several years and just do a signing. And it's like, oh dang, that's Alex Ross. That was during he was doing those giant size for DC.
Yeah, I got all those.
Yeah, so whenever those were released, he would have a stack of those and sign them at that comic shop in town.
Well, that's cool.
Yeah, that was neat.
I think I got something signed by him at a convention, but now that I think about it, I think I also sold that issue that he had signed. Oh well.
Let me ask that too, because that was something, signed comics. Does that have merit, or is it actually defaced at that point?
Oh, it has merit for me.
Yeah.
I love signatures on comics. I think it adds it. I prefer them on the inside, but I like them on the cover as well. I don't think it diminishes anything in my eyes. I even like flaws on comics, though. Just like little, if it's an older comic and it's got a little fade or it's got a date stamp still from when they were on the rack or, things like that. I think that provides character. They don't have to be pristine to me, chances are I'm not selling them. My kids are, so I don't care.
Good luck unloading these.
Right. I'd like a little character on it, a little descriptive. I don't like cuts or rips or anything like that, but if it's got a little stamp or someone wrote their name on the corner,
or it's been marked down at 25 cents or 10 cents, and
right, I kind of like that. It shows somebody cared and it's survived this long.
Yeah, it gives it an age. Yeah, because it's like sometimes it's like, man, that's too nice. It's got to be fake.
Right. Yeah. Exactly.
Because I remember when we had gone and got like Rob Liefeld to sign stuff, and he gave us the certificate of authenticity.
That's Rob Liefeld.
Yeah, yeah. And it's like, and it's like, okay, am I supposed to keep this with this comic? As if somehow like that proves that he signed it. And then there's others where it's
like you can't forge that.
Yeah, and then there's others where I picked up, and I've had a lot of people sign stuff, and it's like, oh, that's cool, but can I verify that?
Right.
That it was signed? It's like, oh, I don't think so.
I mean, nowadays they have people that can verify signatures, but I almost think like I don't even sign my name the same way every time.
Oh no.
Kind of thing. How are these people going to know that he didn't have an off day, or she, and just signed it differently, or, oh, she did the A backwards this time, or the pen was leaking, or, was light. So it was a light signature, and she signed it shorter, like, oh, well, she doesn't sign that usually that way. Usually she spells her full name out. And, well, maybe she didn't this time, but there's people that can pretty much guarantee signatures and all that stuff. But yeah, when we were kids last year,
young up and started,
there was rarely a certificate of authenticity. I've got dozens of signatures from people that I just waited in line for, and they signed it, and that was it.
Now, have you had a book, and we might have discussed this in a previous podcast, but did you ever have a book that you had signed and you were like, well, crap, that wasn't what I wanted signed, or that wasn't where I wanted it signed, or that wasn't the kind of signature I was looking for, or I was hoping for something a little bit more discreet?
Some pens are better than others, and when they use the big gold ones and they're signing a couple in a row and it leaks onto the back cover, like they just throw them in a pile, that thing irritates me. They try not to, and I understand things happen, but you get a sloppy signature that kind of just absorbed wrong or something. I have a couple of those, and other than that, I pretty much have gotten. I like it when they do little, thanks Andy for showing up, or or
kind of personalizes it a little
personalize
bit
more. It, or the Stan Sakai did a little Usagi image.
Nice.
It's like sweet. Got a little rabbit picture next to his signature, and
that's cool.
It's amazing.
Yeah, I
think Paul Chadwick did that.
Yeah. Oh yeah, Paul Chadwick did his Concrete. I got Jeff Darrow's. He did a couple like dinosaur sketches and Rusty the Boy Robot and some other things like that. So
yeah, that's pretty cool. Considering how many they sign and they do that for, all of them. Wow.
Yeah. Well, what was nice is that you and I were of an era in hidden conventions where Adam Hughes was doing just sketches.
Yeah.
And handing them out. You just waited in line and he just like, who's the character you like? Oh, I like Thor. Oh, okay. Sketch, and he just throw out a Sharpie marker on a backer board, sketch out this amazing, without any sort of, he busted out the Sharpie like instantly. There wasn't like, oh, I'm going to pencil something out. No, he busted out that Sharpie right away.
Yep.
Did like a 2-second, and it was a flawless Thor. I was like, how did you do that?
Right.
I watched you, and I still don't know how you did this.
You did it in 10 lines. That was it.
I know. Oh, my gosh. Yeah, Adam Hughes. And then, and he was just, here you go. And I think there was like either a very nominal, like almost a non-existent, like $5, here you go.
Right.
And, he was still, he was, I think that may have been during his, like, Justice League era when he and Ty Templeton and after Kevin McGuire had left Justice League, and he was kind of the replacement,
right?
And it was like, this guy is amazing, and he could draw. And then, unfortunately, people were then flipping it and throwing it onto eBay, saying, "Look, Adam Hughes," and then they were getting hundreds of dollars. And it's like, well, I only charged $5, and you're flipping this thing for $100,
right?
It's like,
right.
Okay, forget it. I'm not
yeah,
do that
and that
anymore.
still continues. Like I saw a post the other day from Marv Wolfman on the Facebooks where he was asking other professionals, what do you charge? Like I had some guy send me through the mail some books to sign, and I don't normally, I don't sign at my house. I sign at conventions, and I charge $20 or whatever for a signature. What should I do? And most of them were like, it's up to you, but just send it back. It's, don't, if you don't sign, you don't sign, and you shouldn't do it for free if you don't feel like it. And part of his reasoning for it was like, I didn't charge my signature until a few years ago when I find out, people are flipping it on eBay for, $300 or whatever, or, I don't know what it was, but, people are flipping it and they're not keeping it as a personal, so I suddenly am charging money just because I know they're going to flip it. And so I don't have a problem with that reasoning, but I do miss the days when they would just sign whatever.
You put it in front of me, I will sign it. Doesn't matter what it is. Hotel napkin, okay.
Yep. I didn't even draw this one, and I'll sign it.
Oh, man, Stan Lee was notorious for that. One signature I remember getting that I wish was better was one of my childhood favorites, and that was Gil Kane. And he signed it in like a ballpoint pen. And it's like, if you don't know it's there, it's just like, what? And it's like, you're Gil, which in its own way is very fitting. Because, like, if you remember Gil Kane's art, everything was thin and wispy and just, had these,
gorgeous.
Long, like long arms, long legs, just everything about it was stretched. And then if you met Gil Kane, he's a tall dude, and he was a tall, skinny dude. And so it's like this, and then to see a tall, skinny ballpoint pen signature makes sense.
Right.
But I kind of, excuse me, now it's contagious over the podcast.
Uh-oh. I don't think it works that way, but
I'm going to claim it if I can get out of work and get an extra long holiday. But yeah, there's some, and then I think I already told the Electra Lives Again hardcover where Frank Miller signed it. And you can't tell he signed it because it was like, oh yeah, I signed a black Sharpie in a black ink area. Good luck trying to determine that.
Yeah. Now that you say that, I know I met Gil Kane as well. I'm trying to think what I got signed from him. It must have been old Green Lanterns that he did. But I'm not sure I have that listed on my app. I'll have to go through another reason to go through my books.
Go through your back issues. Yep, that's what you do. Yeah. I came across my signed Gil Kane. I think I had him sign, it was like a 50th anniversary or something like that of the Green Lantern.
Yeah.
And he did like a cover and a backup story, but it was his cover.
Yeah.
And it showed like Alan Scott's Green Lantern, Hal Jordan's Green Lantern, all the other, Green Lanterns at the time.
And maybe that's what I got signed too, because I know Martin Odell signed that similar issue too, because he had a 8-pager in it or something, and he signed that. I don't know. I'll have to look.
Yeah,
questions.
Yeah,
Not
there's some where I've had signed, and I brought some stuff to sign only so that it gave me like a little bit more credibility, or not necessarily credibility. It was kind of heavy-handed bribe for them to look at my portfolio.
Right.
I have no idea who you are. Oh, let's say this, and I'll say it out loud. Jim Valentino. It's like, I wasn't a fan. Didn't like any of your stuff. He was a heavy hitter, especially, and I think he still has strong connections at Image, but he was a heavy hitter in Image when it first started. And so it's like, man, I got to get, somebody who's going to look at this and find a way to get me in. And so, yeah, I talked to Jim Valentino, and then he's the one who put me in contact with Rob Liefeld back in the day.
Yeah.
And, because those two were kind of partners. I mean, Jim Valentino may not have been a fan of his art. I thought his stories could be engaging in some capacity, but it was more about, like, that dude knew the comic industry. And that's what, got him to be part of that Image. Because if you look at it, it's like, all these people were, like, the hottest people in Marvel. And Jim Valentino. And you're like, what?
Yeah, how'd you get pulled in?
Yeah. It's like, Quito, Frito, and George.
Right. Tell George to wait.
George Carlin bit. Just one of these things is not like the other. And that was, he was that one person. But I bought a couple issues specifically because I knew I was going to meet him or try to meet him and at least have them on hand and bring them to the event. So that way, if I did come across him, then I could go, hey, here's this. What do you think? It's like, oh, and then while you're signing, do you mind? Can you look at my portfolio and give me some comments? And then, at least you kind of grease the wheels a little bit there and show that you at least appreciated something they did, and then hopefully in turn they would return something positive about what you did, kind of a deal. I never got a couple of people that I would have liked to have had signed, never signed them. Then I had met them, and in some cases talked with them. And I did met, meaning like in some cases just I saw them at a convention. They were like, I bought something from them or whatever. But like Neil Adams, I saw him several times at conventions, and it's like, but he was like the first to start charging for his signature. I like Neil Adams, solid. His Batman stuff was great. Early Batman stuff was great. But then, he also was like, yeah, kind of like, I didn't really buy a lot of stuff that had Neil Adams work in it. So I didn't have anything really for him to sign. And a lot of the stuff was out of my price range anyway.
Right.
But Steranko was another one. I don't know if I'll be back at a Comic Con. Oh, crap.
Uh-oh.
I don't know if yeah, I'm kidding. I don't know if I'll be back at a Comic Con that has Steranko there.
Matt 10.0 loves Steranko.
I know, and the dude's fantastic. I never really had stuff that I felt like, I'll bring this over. I've got a bunch of Nick Fury, Agent of S.H.I.E.L.D., and I got some other of his magazines that he was producing and stuff, but I never had it on hand when I was at the spot where he was at. I often wondered, like, if I were to sell some of these books, get rid of some of these books, and said, well, this one's signed, it's like, is there value in that? Or are there people like...
I think so. I think people look for signatures for a variety of reasons, but I think they do have value for the most part. I mean, there's some signatures I wish I would have gotten. I don't think I have an Art Adams.
Well,
Keith Giffen.
I think we do. Do you remember we waited when that Legend imprint kicked off, and we went to Chicago.
Was he there for that?
Yeah, it was Monkey Man and O'Brien.
Frank Miller.
Yeah, it was Frank Miller.
All I remember is Frank Miller's story, so...
yeah, him storming off.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, you're right. Art Adams was
right
there.
next to Paul Chadwick, and, it was Mignola, it was Paul Chadwick, it was... I don't think John Byrne was there.
No, he wasn't. I met him later. I never had a Keith Giffen signature.
I don't think I've ever even met him at a convention. Out of all the conventions I've gone to, I've never met him. Yeah. Or seen him, I should say, seen him.
I wish I had a Kurt Swan.
That would have been cool.
That'd been great.
Jack Kirby. I remember he was in Chicago, and then the next year he had passed away.
Oh, man.
And I was like, dang it. That was it. That would have been the last time. We've got our great Stan Lee story.
Right?
So that's better than a signature. Some people can say they had him sign something. Not everybody can say they ate with him.
That's right.
Enjoy those $20.99 books. Or $2.099 or whatever. He called it something different. You're like, what the heck?
099er.
Niner. Yeah. So I was kind of going through, like I said, I was sorting through my books to see what I could sell or try to winnow it down to a decent quantity so it's not overwhelming. But in doing so, I was like, oh, wow, I forgot I had this one signed. Oh, I forgot about this whole run of this. And, there's some things that were like, oh my gosh. But yeah, then, you find out that this person's no longer, around. It's like, oh man, like Bernie Wrightson had done The Weird. And I remember going like, oh man, that was at the height of Justice League, and it's like Bernie Wrightson's drawing superheroes. This is going to be interesting, and The Weird was great, but it was like, I haven't read it since it came out, but, just looking back, it's like, I forgot all about that series. And I don't know why that one, of all the books that I went through, it's like, I forgot everything about this. And it had zero impact, meaning, like, what happened after that? Did The Weird...
They did a sequel.
They did?
Yeah, like 5 years ago.
Oh my gosh. Okay. Well, I'll have to dig that up somehow or find it. Who wound up pulling that together then?
I thought it was the originals back again.
Oh.
But I'm not positive on whether it was Bernie Wrightson. I'm thinking it was just Starlin and somebody else.
Okay.
I'll have to look that up.
Because there's some, books that I thought, like, that was a big deal at the time. And then it's like, that's not really at all a thing. Like Valiant comics, I bought heavy into Valiant. And
Archer and Armstrong.
Give those away. Yeah. I think there might be a few of some series that has some value, or at least the first issue or something like that have some value, but most of them do not. I remember paying some premium pricing for those because they were like, Valiant, this is the best thing you can get. Jump on board when it's, just starting. This is the time to do it. And I fell for it and paid money to get those missing images. And then I can go into any 25-cent bin and find exactly that missing item.
Yeah, they really push that as one of the best companies and series of all time. All that early Valiant stuff.
Yeah,
you don't see it as much, or at least I don't, as much as you used to, but they're still around a lot.
Yeah. I remember when they just got bought and they were coming back out with them again. We were talking with them as a potential license, like, hey, we could make figures out of these comics that you have. And then you realize a lot of these were they were licensing them themselves. So it's like, oh, we'd actually have to go through somebody else. Because if you notice Solar, Man of the Atom, and Dr. Solar, and then what's the other one? Magnus Robot Fighter. Those were the gold key characters. And somehow the Valiant didn't own those, even though they produced them. They were licensing those out. Oh, and so I think Dark Horse or Dynamite, one of the two is actually doing those things now. And they're not part of Valiant. And it's like, oh. So Valiant only had a few key titles anyway. Oh, I still have a cool t-shirt out of it. Yeah. I went to a licensing show and talked to them about it. And I got
all you got is a stupid t-shirt.
Yeah. Yeah. And then there was the other imprints, cross-gen. I remember that one was a big one as well. We're only going to have 8 titles. And you're going to want to get all 8. And then that went belly up, too. I think that was where Mark Waid got kind of suckered into that one, where they were making it into as you had to sign an exclusivity with them. And then even after they went belly up, you were kind of still obligated by their contract to be exclusive to them. I was like, what?
Jeez. What a racket.
And, yeah. Do you remember Simon Bisley or Bisley or something like that?
He did all that Lobo stuff.
Yeah, exactly.
Judge Dredd.
And he got suckered into something as well. I think the Melting Pot, and it was Tundra Press, and he signed an exclusive. And then, at his height, he got into that, and all of a sudden that went belly up, and he was like, oops, and I'm stuck.
Well, if you have any questions about mainstream books, you should write us at andthisiswhyilovecomics@gmail.com. We're on the Facebooks. Check us out. And This Is Why I Love Comics podcast. And we are on the Twitter, and that'll be in the show notes. We are actually on TikTok now. And if you go to the Facebook page, there's a link there that'll send you right to our it'll send us to our TikTok page. I've only got 4 things up there now, and they're kind of dumb, but I'm learning as I go, so it'll be half the fun. And we're on the Instagram and the Snapchat, maybe. I don't know. As I go along, we're all there. Check us out. But if you have any questions on Iron Man Extremis,
we'll have to address that at another time.
We're going to talk about it next episode.
Yep. We're catching up on things.
Yeah, that's right. We're going to try and get a couple episodes out. We didn't get them out because I was sore throaty for a long time and still am, but can do it. So we're going to play some catch-up.
Glass lessons didn't go over very well.
Yes, so we're going to try to get a few more episodes out to make up for the lost February. And we're still on track for YouTube, but we'll probably push back a little bit farther. And This Is Why I Love Comics, I'm Andy.
And I'm Mike.
And that's Mike. And we'll see ya next time. Hey, Thunder Chicken, kick it. I wanted to say something different, but that really doesn't go. Kick it, you know? It just doesn't. Rock on!
Kick it.
Daddy Mac will make you jump.
Don't go this side. Wait. Don't go this side. Wait. Don't go this side. Just wait. Don't go this side. 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 Just wait. Don't go this side. Wait. Don't go this side.
You take the book, you take the bag, you take some tape, and there you have a comic book. A comic book.